All right, let's just dive right into it. Today we're going through a massive explainer of a story that completely flips the script on the apocalypse. We're not just talking about surviving monsters here. We're talking about a masterclass in weaponizing hindsight. Imagine using the darkest, most painful memories of your past to become the absolute most ruthless, calculated player in a ruined world. Sounds intense, right? Let's get into it. So ask yourself, what would you actually do if you were suddenly reborn exactly 30 days before a literal solar apocalypse melted the Earth? For our main guy, Suchan, this isn't just some crazy hypothetical. He actually possesses every single grueling memory of a 5-year post-apocalyptic hellscape. And honestly, armed with this ultimate cheat code of hindsight, he's not here to be the hero and save the world. No way. He is here to conquer it. To really get why he's like this, you gotta look at the timeline. In his original life, Suchin spent 5 agonizing years literally bleeding for his girlfriend, Xiao Xin, only to have her brutally murder him just to steal his remaining supplies. It's brutal. But then, snap, he's thrown back to exactly 1 month before the catastrophe even begins. The victim we saw? Completely gone. The survivor has arrived. And this time around, he is ruthlessly prepared. 3 billion. Let that number sink in for a second. That is the staggering volume of resources Suchan vows to hoard. And how is he going to pull that off? Well, he has this secret weapon, a newly awakened 10,000 meters spatial dimension where time is just entirely frozen. We're talking hot food that never cools down, ice that literally never melts. He's quietly draining entire lakes and emptying massive commercial warehouses into this infinite invisible vault. Now, to actually fund this massive empire, Suchan goes on an absolute financial rampage. He liquidates everything he owns and strategically borrows $600,000 from the exact same loan sharks who tortured him in his past life. Talk about payback, right? He takes their cash and transforms it into a $10 million luxury banquet, tons of smokeless charcoal, and literal mountains of edible ice. He is basically weaponizing the ignorance of his future abusers right against them. And then day 1 finally arrives, and the environment just completely fractures. A mutated red moon pushes global temperatures way past 175 degrees. Outside, the asphalt is literally liquefying, and victims are burning in the streets. But inside, it's a completely different story. Suchan is just lounging around in a fortified presidential suite, blasting the AC next to a private pool with an absolute endless feast. I mean, it is the ultimate apocalyptic flex. But, humanity isn't completely defenseless here. As creatures start mutating, they develop these purple crystal cores, and the leveling system in this universe is brutally simple. Step 1, kill the beast. Step 2, extract the core. Step 3, consume it to absorb its evolutionary energy. Sure, it is super high risk, but it grants these insane superhuman traits. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, the rapid descent into total madness is honestly terrifying. That intense heat causes unprotected civilians to literally melt or turn into these zombie-like creatures they call drought demons. Then you have this ruthless gangster named Guang who steps up and violently takes control of the surviving guests. And in this bitter twist of irony, Suchan's ex-girlfriend Xiaoxin, the same woman who betrayed him for scraps, is now burning up in the hallways, desperately trying to manipulate her way into his luxurious, perfectly chilled sanctuary. The pain he felt, they will feel 100 times more. And let me tell you, this isn't just some empty threat. It's Suchin's entire new philosophy. During this massive, chaotic lobby fight, he capitalizes on a distraction, swooping in out of nowhere to steal a crystal kill right out from under the mob boss Wang's nose. Consuming it unlocks his berserker strength, so now he's no longer just a prepper with a bunch of supplies, he's an apex predator. And that new strength? It gets put to the test immediately. Xiaoxin, completely driven to the brink, consumes human flesh and transforms into a horrifying drought demon herself. She goes straight for Suchan, but with his newly activated berserker power, her claws barely even scratch him. It's wild. In this incredibly calculated, brutal display of justice, Suchan physically dismantles her, literally limb by limb. And even when her demonic body tries to regenerate, he just crushes her until there is absolutely nothing left. So just as the survivors are kind of adapting to this literal inferno, the Earth completely flips the script on them. The extreme heat melts the ice caps, which shifts the tectonic plates and triggers a catastrophic global flood. Just like that, overnight, these scorched, ruined skyscrapers become deep-sea dungeons, introducing these terrifying aquatic mutations right into the food chain. With the city completely submerged, it quickly fractures into these warlord-controlled territories. Up in the north, you've got the Water Snake and Corpse Queen. Down south, there's a cannibal clan. The east is ruled by the horrific Rat King, and the west is Gawang's Hotel. For ordinary survivors, this is an absolute nightmare. But for Suchan, it's basically a roadmap of targets just waiting to be conquered. And Suchan wastes zero time here. He dives headfirst into a brutal boss battle against the Golden King Cobra, which is this massive mutated beast that's actually manipulating the floods. Since his normal weapons just shatter against its scales, Suchan uses his bare berserker fists to literally rip the beast in half. It's crazy. He claims its core, which grants him water breathing and aquatic armor. He is basically forcing his own evolution just to match the apocalypse. Right amidst all this carnage, Suchan manages to secure his most vital asset yet, Dr. Duan. She's this brilliant surgeon who awakens mental manipulation abilities, and she pledges absolute loyalty to Suchan. When you think about it, in a ruined world where betrayal is practically guaranteed, having a lie-detecting, mind-reading doctor by your side is infinitely more valuable than any weapon. This unstoppable momentum leads them straight over to the University of Science and Technology. And this place is dark. A mad scientist named Lu Hian is forcing survivors to trade their actual lifespans for temporary enhancement drugs. Even worse, he's splicing human DNA with what's called the apocalypse gene, engineering this nightmare army of rat-human hybrids. In the apocalypse, ordinary humans were like ants. Those are Lu Hian's actual words, and they perfectly expose the insane god complex of this world's new warlords. I mean, the guy literally feeds his own students to mutant rats just to advance his research. It's exactly this kind of arrogance that Suchan is uniquely equipped to tear down. When he finally gets cornered in his own lab, Lu Hian does the unthinkable. Completely refusing to lose, he injects himself directly with that unstable apocalypse gene. He sheds every last bit of his humanity to become the massive, immortal Rat King. Commanding this massive swarm, he genuinely believes he has become an untouchable god. The climax of this fight is just absolute chaos. Suchan gets swallowed whole by the rat swarm, and Lu Hian tries to break him using a mental illusion. But Suchan's traumatized, ironclad mind totally shatters the trap. He rips right through the monster's regenerating flesh, crushes the true core hidden deep in its brain, and steps out of the gore. And instantly, the entire remaining rat army bows down to their new master. So at this point, let's just take a step back and look at Suchan's arsenal, because he is becoming a walking natural disaster. Combining spatial teleportation, his berserker durability, the aquatic adaptation, an obedient rat army, and his newly acquired ice generation, he has completely evolved from a prepared survivor into a virtually unstoppable one-man army. But, raw power still requires a secure foundation. Suchan ends up escorting a team of rescued doctors to the rushing safe zone, only to uncover this sickening truth. The leader of the zone, Lord Zheng, he isn't protecting refugees at all. He's farming them. He is secretly trading human citizens to a cannibalistic devourer tribe just in exchange for food. As you might guess, Suchan's response is swift and absolutely merciless. He basically tosses a devourer corpse right into the middle of the camp, publicly exposing the dark deal and triggering a massive military mutiny. In the ensuing chaos, Suchan casually slips a live grenade into the corrupt leader's son's mouth, massacres the entire cannibal tribe, and seamlessly usurps all the resources of the region. But hey, the apocalypse never stops evolving. That brutal cycle of intense heat, followed by the massive flood, triggers a terrifying leap in the environment. Now, the flora itself is fighting back. Massive vines and these strange fungal spores start actively hunting humans, turning the submerged ruins into a literal carnivorous jungle. While they're out seeking better weaponry inside a submerged military bunker, Suchan's team triggers this deadly trap. They are instantly swarmed by these massive, tentacled plant mutants, and as his allies are fighting for their lives to survive the onslaught up on the surface, Suchan finds himself locked in a room with the bunker's apex predator, this maniacal, regenerating mutant named Pangi. Pangi literally laughs off every single attack, claiming his regenerative cells make him an immortal god of this strange new green world. So it all comes down to this. Can a man who mastered the apocalypse through sheer preparation and stolen powers actually out-evolve nature itself? Like, how do you even kill something that completely refuses to die? Well, that is a massive question for next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and stay curious.